Theme.
Hello, multiverse.
The Infendo multiverse. In this episode, I am Mike McSurdy, Justin is Steve, and Lucas...
I am Holly Feldmuth.
Yes, it's better than what I was going to go with, so well done. Okay, that's good. Gotta make sure that all my buttons are working because of my kiddo. You know what it was in the citywide meeting, by the way? It was because I was playing Oculus, so it was connecting to my Oculus microphone. So,
But you said you had another call like right before that.
Yeah,
fine.
well, I don't know why the go-to meeting went to the Oculus microphone, but that's the only thing I can think of because I was playing that this weekend, so I don't know.
Hey, this meeting is being recorded.
Just show up at the meeting in like an Oculus headset. Like, hello and welcome from the future. If you go with our company, we promise you future tech.
Okay, let's go ahead and sync up. Everybody's recording, yes? I'll take that as a yes.
Yes, I believe I am.
I literally said,
1. How is your audio position, Lucas?
It's pretty good. How's your audio position?
I feel like I started the show a little too late in the audio-wise, but other than that, it was okay. But,
I get that. Oh, by the way, mine is at 8:50.
Okay, cool, yeah. Justin?
Mine is at 9:50.
Well, how is your, let's see, 9:50. Yeah, I got nothing witty here. So, all right, I'm going to start the sounds of the show.
Ow.
And Lucas, it's all you, I guess. I was all prepared to be host tonight, but Lucas is like, nope, not today, son. Here we go.
Infendo Radio records live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can join us and watch those live recordings over at twitch.tv/Infendo Radio.
We put the we in wiener. Infendo Radio is on now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Infendo Radio, episode 608. We recorded those bumpers like a month ago. I don't know why in those things I said that we record on Wednesday. It is clearly Thursday today, but thank you for joining us all the same. My name is Lucas. I am joined by my two lovable little munchkin gremlings, whatever they were called, the things you can't get wet from that 80s movie. One of which is currently in, it looks like, Hyrule. No, that's Pokemon World, isn't it? Justin, how you doing tonight? And how many have you caught?
We all live in a Pokemon world.
I want to be the greatest master of them all.
I have no idea how many I've caught because I haven't played it in a long time. But I have been playing Twitter. Does that work? No? Okay. Well, you can follow me on Twitter at InfendoJustin. You can go to the DisneyParkBench.com and check out everything I've got going there. I was going to have a guide to Disney attraction queues up sometime this week, but Disney announced that whatever is replacing FastPass is coming, so now I have to rewrite about half of that. So go to the Disney Park Bench and keep an eye out for updates.
All right, Eugene, what park benches are you hanging out on, and where can the people find you?
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Well, sometimes I go to the park bench over by my house when I'm working, and it's rather nice, but it's been really hot lately, so I haven't done that. But when I'm not doing that, I'm just hanging out on Infendo.com. You can find me there. Lucas, more importantly, how are you doing, and where can the people find you?
I'm doing just dandy, Eugene, and the people can't find me anywhere because I haven't been doing anything online for the better part of a month now. So,
well,
good luck with that, people. But yeah, Infendo.com, I guess, would be the best place to go since that's kind of our shared community hub. We have a show for you tonight. We have a kind of exciting show for you, I guess, because there was a big old Pokemon Direct that happened yesterday. And my good buddy Steven wrote me Wednesday night and said, boy, I can't wait to hear you talk about the Pokemon Direct tonight. And I said, Steve, there's a few problems with that. The first of which is that we record on Thursday night. So here we are.
Apparently, though, the bumper thought
otherwise. Yeah,
but...
he's just been listening to the bumpers, I guess. So I think we're going to talk a little bit about that at least. I don't know how much of that you guys have tuned in for, but we can kind of chat a little bit. There was nothing. No. I don't think there was anything really monumental. I mean, there were a few new Pokemon revealed.
The biggest thing for me was the Pokemon, what's it called, Arceus. It didn't, like, it ran smooth. It looked really great. Like
the internet begs to differ. The internet has some
do
qualms.
They? Come on.
Internet. Yeah, the internet sucks.
Oh, yeah. I think it looks
a lot better. Yeah.
So I have let's just dive in here. I'd like to start off by saying I think the internet has a agenda at this point. Believe it or not, people on the internet may have an agenda. Right? It seems like Pokemon has this really high expectation that I don't think it's really earned. Because I saw, as one person said on Twitter, Pokemon has never really been about the visuals. It's always kind of been a gameplay, game in the same way as like a Mario game, right? Like Mario games have never looked gorgeous. They've just always played really well. And I've always kind of felt that way about Pokemon too. Like even the older ones, they're fine, but they've never been like these graphics explosions. But I think people really thought when it came out on a console, it was going to be this opportunity to really push it to like the forefront of like, this is what a Pokemon game can look like. So I think even the fact that Arceus looks really good, in my opinion, and I like Sword and Shield. Like I didn't have any problems with Sword and Shield, but I think it looks better than Sword and Shield. There's still a lot of people out there who say this is not what I want to look like.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures comparing it to Oblivion and like, oh look how good this game looked in 2006. I'm
scrolling through the YouTube comments. It's not good. I hate everyone.
Yeah, I said this when all the Sword and Shield controversy was happening. Game Freak is making Arceus, right?
Yeah, as far as I understand it.
Because I know the Diamond and Pearl are being outsourced, but yeah, Game Freak is, for all intents and purposes, an independent developer. That just because
backed and funded by one of the largest developers. Yeah, exactly.
but only partially funded.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's also
Pokemon
true.
Company. I mean, Pokemon Company and Game Freak and all that are kind of their own like things, and yeah, they're not Nintendo. They're certainly not Bethesda, which is backed by Microsoft. It's. I don't know. I think Arceus looks great considering we've never gotten a Pokemon game like this before, and I'm excited about it. Probably more excited than I've been for a Pokemon game in a long time. And
yeah, so I hate Diamond and Pearl. By which I mean I hate Diamond and Pearl like I hate Breath of the Wild. It is my least favorite in a series of games that are very well made, right? And that I pretty much enjoy every game in the series. Diamond and Pearl, I think, came along at a weird time for me. Late high school, Pokemon was kind of out for me at that period. I hadn't gotten into college yet for Gen 5. I didn't really like any of the Pokemon in Gen 4. Shinx is like the only one that stands out to me, but Piplup, Turtwig, the freaking monkey, I hated all of their designs. I hated the mountain. I hated going back and forth through the mountain. I thought Team Galactic was really stupid. Just everything about those games just rubbed me the wrong way as far as Pokemon games go. So there's this part of me that's Schadenfreude inside bit of me that knows that a lot of people love these games for whatever reason, that's really happy that it's being completely eclipsed by Arceus because I really like the way Arceus looks, and Shining Diamond and Brilliant Pearl or whatever they're called, they're gonna be fine. Seeing the little fossil...
Fire Diamond and Leaf Pearl.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing the little the little fossil mining segment. I remember doing that for hours in the game. So I'm looking forward to that again. Contests are back, obviously. Give me a Battle Frontier, man. Just make that happen already.
Right?
But
the real thing I want to ask is Steve going to get the Switch Lite that's announced for it?
Of
course he is.
We'll see. So yeah, no, like I'm excited. Like Diamond and Pearl is going to be fine. You know, I'll probably pick up Pearl again, and you know, maybe I'll get Steve on a Pokemon podcast or something to talk about it. I'm really excited for Arceus, and it's cool that Arceus is coming out in January because Pokemon games have been coming out in November for like 10 years now, without fail.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really hyped. Like it looks like a really good game.
Are the other two coming out in November then?
I believe those have a November.
Yeah, November 19th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, those are the usual November release dates. Which, again, honestly, like I'll probably pick it up because it's Pokemon, and like I never miss a Pokemon game. But I mean, if Monster Hunter Stories is dropping like really hard content, then maybe I'll put it on hold and wait for Arceus. You know, like I don't know.
I want that fluffy Growlithe like bad.
Oh yeah, well that was what was cool to me is, you know, I think a lot of people expected this to kind of be a light spin-off kind of game where it's like, oh, just go around and catch Pokemon. Did. They're introducing new Pokemon. They're introducing new forms. I think Stantler has a full-on evolution.
New battle options. They got the strong and weak moves or whatever they're called.
Well, and like so we have a little behind the scenes podcast information for you guys. One of our longest time producers, Andy, actually hangs out usually with us, and he whispers sweet nothings into our ear behind the scenes while we talk. It's an extended producer benefit we gave him, and he brought up the fact while we were talking that the Pokemon can attack you in this one, which is cool. There's that scene where the Ursaring is just charging at the player, and she has to like jump out of the way. Like it looks like what I want from Pokemon.
It's kind of everything I ever wanted, right?
And they confirmed Ralts is back, which means Gardevoir is back, which means my favorite Pokemon is in the game. So confirmed. I'm happy there. Yeah, I don't have Bulbasaur yet, but I'm okay with that. As long as I got Gardevoir, I'm happy. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Bulbasaur hasn't evolved yet, since this takes place way in the past before anybody knew what Pokemon could be or whatever the hell the story is.
Stylistically, I really like that the Pokeballs are made out of like wood and gears and stuff like that. It sounds like the real challenge of the game this time is going to be, it almost kind of has a Pokemon Snap feel to it, where you're going to kind of be going out and trying to hunt down all the different Pokemon who come out at different times of day. They react differently, they run from you, they charge at you, that kind of stuff, and you're going to be filling out what they said is basically the first Pokedex. So I think more than the other games, this one really is going to be kind of incentivizing the gotta catch 'em all mechanic, which honestly is something I've never really been that interested in, so I'm kind of excited to actually have a reason to do that in this game, so yeah, that'll be fun. I hope it has online battles. I still want to like fight Steve and stuff, so yeah, that's Legends Arceus. That's Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to talk. I know we kind of blew past that. I know they had other announcements,
which makes me happy. But go on.
yeah, they had other announcements that I honestly skipped through when I watched it. I really want Arceus, which means I probably won't get the remakes. But I love the way the remakes look, and they look even better than they did before. Like. That is the Shining Pearl and Sparkling Diamond or whatever the hell they're called.
Someone is listening to this and screaming right now.
His name is Steve.
The Diamond and Pearl remakes look like what I think Pokemon games should look like. At least, like the top-down RPG ones, because like Pokemon is not something you can put a realistic spin on. It's not something you can put realistic sizes and proportions to. So I like that they're going back to the chibi, original Game Boy sprites. I mean, they stuck with that style until, Black and White?
Yeah, pretty much. And even Black and White was very chibi. Really, it didn't get like elongated until Gen 6.
X and Y was the first anime style one, and that was...
But see, I have so many mixed feelings on that because I've seen those fan mock-ups that people use to crap all over the new games. It's like, look at how pretty this looks. And it does. Like a Breath of the Wild engine Pokemon looks really nice. Detective Pikachu, the movie, was really cool. And that used an entirely different style for the Pokemon that was really based in kind of like a real world. Like I think
Jigglypuff was fuzzy.
Oh, Jigglypuff was fuzzy. I think there's a place for that style, right? But I don't think every game has to adhere to a specific art style. I don't think going cutesy chibi is a downgrade. I think it's just a stylistic choice in the same way that Skyward Sword wasn't a downgrade from Twilight Princess,
Yeah, I think the style they chose for Arceus or Arceus?
Just take your pick. I say
You're
Arceus.
the master.
I mean, I say Arceus, but I might
think
be
the
wrong.
art style. I think the art style they chose for Legend Arceus fits that style of gameplay, and I think the art style that they chose for the Diamond and Pearl remakes fits that style of gameplay. And I don't think anyone is right or wrong, but definitely for the like I said, for the top-down, turn-based, kind of simpler RPG games, I like that chibi style, and I'm glad they brought it back.
The thing that bothers me is, you said you don't think people are right or wrong. I think a lot of people are wrong because a lot of people online have taken to practically bullying these game devs, the trees look like they're from Ocarina of Time, and like,
oh my god,
like,
I saw somebody when I was just scrolling through the YouTube comments, they're like, that cliff texture looks like it's from that Nintendo 60. It's like, get out of here, please.
I would rather have a game that looks like N64 and is a blast to play for hours and hours than something that looks like, I don't know, Cyberpunk is supposed to look and plays like Cyberpunk plays.
Like, these people are real people, and like, they weren't being lazy, they were trying, and not every game is going to be a home run to your specifications. But like, I remember how like hurt the devs were. Like, they actually came out and said like, man, I feel really crappy, that like we're seeing all this stuff. And like, I don't know. It just seems like ever since Sword and Shield, people have been trying to like shut down Pokemon. Like, there've been these new, like, Temtem came out a few months ago or a year ago or whatever. COVID has erased all meaning of time. And it's like, everybody was like, oh, this is going to be the one that takes away blah, 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 blah. But here we are, so.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like something is always going to come around, and they're going to say it's going to either topple Nintendo's throne or Pokemon's, and it just doesn't happen that way. The one thing before we move on for Pokemon, one thing I am excited about the mobile launch for Pokemon Unite. I think it was the 22nd of September.
Can I talk a little bit about Pokemon Unite real quick?
Yeah, let's.
Okay, and then we will cover the other thing, but that doesn't matter right now because I'm the one speaking. Pokemon Unite is really freaking cool. I played a lot of that. Colt got me and Steve into it. Well, he got me into it. I think he warmed up Steve's bitter, cold Pokemon Unite centered heart a little bit towards it because Steve was not as interested. But he left, I think, as positive as he could have left with it. I played a lot of it since then. I played it on my trip last week where I was out of town. I really like that game, guys. It is a really cool game. I want there to be more Pokemon. I love it. It's the best thing ever. And I'm definitely going to talk about it more in Change the System. But yeah, I hope that when it's on mobile, have they said anything about cross-play or cross-platform or anything, Eugene? Because I would like to play that with you.
Yeah.
Not that you don't own a Switch, but let's be real.
I think I don't know this for certain, but I'm pretty sure that they said that it's going to have crossplay right from the start. So that should be awesome, like you can play with your buddies right away. And I think that there's some kind of incentive actually for, downloading it or preloading it or something like that before the mobile launch. And you get like a certain Pokemon. I forgot what it was because it's been 24 hours since I've seen it.
I heard that it's very aggressively microtransaction-y, like very mobile gamey.
Yes and no. It's not really aggressively microtransaction-y, but it's very aggressively, here's a reward, and here's a reward, and here's a login reward, and here's a reward for challenges complete, and here's a daily reward, and there's a lot of like pushing like this, and that kind of stuff. There are people who say that it's very pay to win because supposedly you can. So hear me out here. Supposedly, well, the one thing that I invested in was the battle pass because that comes out like every 3 months or whatever, and you unlock a bunch of stuff as you play. You've played Fortnite, you've played a game like that, you know what a battle pass is. But people were saying, I had a lot of leftover currency from getting the battle pass, and people were like, "Oh, you can buy tickets and then convert those tickets into Aeon coins and then convert that into experience for your held items to make your Pokemon better." If that's a thing, I can't figure out how to do it because I was like, I have all this leftover currency. I might as well cheat and get really good, And I spent like 20 minutes in the menus. I tried to look up a guide online. Everybody claims you can do it, but nobody seems to want to tell you how you can do it. So I don't know if that's actually an aspect or not. I just have some coins lying around, and I was like, screw it, I'll get Wiggly Tough without having to save up, in-game coins or what. And that was like how I blew through the rest of my premium. But I don't really think it's that bad. And honestly, I think I've won something like 70% of the matches I've played. And like I said, I haven't put any money into the game in like a competitive way. Like I haven't earned any bonuses other than just what I get from the battle pass, which, is a couple of things here and there. So right. I think I feel like it's more balanced than that, but who knows, And that's my 2 cents.
I like the game a lot. I don't think I put as much time into it as you have at this point, but it's really good. It's solid, like it's a MOBA ass MOBA, it's fun.
I haven't played any of it, so.
Well, with that, I guess we will be right back at the tail end of this break with Change the System.
Win. Perfect. Yatta.
Good job.
We're back. Hello,
Yatta,
Facebook
yatta,
and
yatta,
YouTube and Twitch. We've got at least one person with us hanging out. Hi, Zombie Pie. Thanks, Chris L.
I am not wearing a green leaf.
Earlier, appreciate that. And I'm gonna start some music and toss it back over to you. Let's see. Let's go with "Romance in the Air." That sounds fancy.
Ooh. Loud.
Sounds very Disney movie.
You played this game.
Okay, so let's find...
Is this still Skyward Sword?
Yes.
Yeah, we're Skyward Sword.
I found so much of the music in that game forgettable, though, so...
Oh, I love the soundtrack. It was good.
I love the soundtrack. It's just a lot of it's forgettable.
Fair. All right,
This is the
let's
guy who
go
played Breath of the
with-
It's
Wild
great
music
during the
for,
time. I
like-
don't remember most of it after I shut the game off.
Again, this is the guy who played Breath of the Wild music for like a year and a half, who mixed his own compilation of the Hyrule Castle theme.
Which played on my iPhone today. I was very happy.
Here we go, gonna make a note, start the show, here we go.
Here we come to save the day.
Oh fuck, it's muted. Let's try that again.
I hope all this just stays in the show.
Ask us a question and we'll answer it live on the air. Head over to our Discord. You can get there through infendo.com and ask us a question in the question block channel.
You're not wrong. I was waiting for the guy to come on and go, Infendo Radio is on now. We will do that. However, lately we've just been asking ourselves questions because none of you write us questions anymore. But that's okay. You know what? We're better off. We've moved on from you. We need you guys. Please come back to us. Change the System is a segment we're going to do right now. It's a segment where we talk about the games we've been playing and how magical and wonderful that is. Eugene, you were positively glowing today, and I don't think it's just your backlighting. So you want to tell us the games that you've been playing?
Sure. I mean, it's nothing special, guys. It's kind of all the same things. Skyward Sword is on my list of games that I've been playing, and that's the music that you're listening to in the background, so I guess that's kind of fitting. It's just kind of my slow burn game, you know. I'll turn it on for half hour here, an hour there. I don't know this for certain, but I think that they've added a lot more save statues to the game, so it's a lot more like mobile friendly, you know, I guess, handheld friendly.
I don't know if they did that so much as now that it auto saves every time you like enter a new area, then you don't have to worry so much about getting to a bird statue.
Yeah, it's exactly. There's a lot of quality of life enhancements that are really nice, even if you don't have the amiibo. But it's a good game, guys. I like it a lot. The one thing that I will say about it though is that now that I've gotten into the first dungeon, I know that the areas outside of the dungeons act as like a dungeon, but I don't know how much I like that. I don't know. I like it a little bit, but
I never really agreed with Justin when he said that. I just kind of like shut up and let my opinion go unnoted.
Sure.
But they just feel like their own thing to me, you know. Admittedly, they're very task oriented. You know, it's not just like free roam. But
it feels almost like a big shrine where you have to do like a task.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess that's probably a better comparison, because like whereas a dungeon you go from room to room, solve puzzle to puzzle, the overworld sections is definitely a lot of here's a big area in which you have to do one big task that'll take you like half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, see, to me that just doesn't feel that different from like most other games I've played. But I guess compared to like a normal Zelda game where it's just like point A, point B, that does kind of make sense, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like the worst, but it always just feels like busy work. It's like, okay, I'm using my dowsing thing, and I found, and it's on Zelda, but it found the big old leaf guy, and the big old leaf guy won't tell me where Zelda went until I find the little tiny leaf guys, and it's it just kind of feels like busy work to me, and that's fine. I guess they have to fill out the game, but I remember this game being pretty darn long and not needing a lot of busy work. You know, I think I put like 80 hours the first time I played this game type of thing.
Yeah, I think it took me about 60 hours to beat, and honestly, it probably could have ended after 45, because by hour 50, I'm like, all right, I'm in the same place again. I'm dousing again. It's, I got to do another one of those dark world searches and all that. Like, it is a very well-made game that is also very flawed in several game-breaking ways.
It feels like, and again, I like this game a lot, but it feels like somebody told the developers, hey, you got to make this game twice as long. So, they just put a lot of like obstacles in the way or whatever.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case, because, Wind Waker was notoriously short. Twilight Princess was very long, but also never really felt too long. Like there was constantly something new to do, and this was during a period where I think there was a lot of debate over how long should a game be for $60. So I feel like there was probably some pressure to say, hey, if people can beat this game in 40 hours, they're not going to want to pay $60 for it. So, find some other way to use these worlds and make it longer.
And I'm going to say it again. Like, I know we've disagreed on this before, but to me, Wind Waker has always felt the exact opposite to me. That is, like, starkly empty for a Zelda game. It's like I feel like I spent so much time in Wind Waker,
especially the ocean stuff. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. And I love the aesthetic, and I love sailing in that game. But if I didn't, I'd be so bored because it's just there's so much empty space, So I feel like this game definitely tried to compensate in the opposite direction. But then I feel like we went back to the empty space thing in Breath of the Wild, which is making me hope that in Breath of the Wild 2, it'll be a little bit more full again. I don't know.
It would be nice to find a happy medium. Like,
yeah, it would be.
If you could take the Skyward Sword, things to do on the overworld and intricate, brilliant dungeons and combine it with, Breath of the Wild's huge, sprawling overworld that's fun to explore, it will have like the perfect Zelda game. But
and I was
right now we've just got bits and pieces of great ideas in different games.
And once I got into this dungeon, I was like, oh yeah, this is why I loved this game, because the dungeon, it's fantastic, that's the. Come on, I'm gonna give spoilers, I guess, here, but this is a 10-year-old game.
10-year-old game.
Or whatever, so, but you get the beetle thing that you can fly around, and you have to like navigate it through the area and everything like that. I thought that was a really cool item that they introduced into this game. I like that one a lot for whatever reason. So yeah, no, and Girahim, like, come on guys, like, he's fantastic. Like, I just love him as a villain. So yeah, it's I like this game a whole lot when I'm in the dungeoning stuff, and I'm glad that it's on the Switch for the non-dungeoning stuff, because again, like, it doesn't matter. I can just pick it up for 30 minutes and do whatever side quests I need to do, and then...
and what's great is on the Switch, you have the option to turn off motion controls, so when you're doing the menial tasks and not engaged in battles and, tilty puzzles... you can shut that off and just be like, da-da-da-da, for, half hour or so,
Can I talk about how much I like the way that they've implemented the handheld mode? Because I honestly feel like it's better, the sword play anyways, with the stick. And I know a lot of people have said, oh, but then you lose the camera control. Just hold the R or the L button, and then you can move the camera around. I don't see what's so hard about that. It's almost like kind of like a throwback N64 game where you had to hold a button for an alt, or something like that. But
I do wish you could change that control slightly. I would like for the right stick to control the camera by default, and then like press the L button to pull the sword out.
That's
and
actually
use it.
A good idea. Yeah.
Because I do find myself, I'm used to dual sticking it, where I'm moving one way, the camera's moving another way, and so I do that, and Link starts pulling out a sword, and I'm going in the wrong direction, and all that, like.
So basically a set and a switch style.
That's a great idea, where you can just flip them, because then I would do that. I would actually switch it so then my sword was the alt. I would hold L to use the sword, because I feel like I'm using the camera more than I'm using the sword.
Or even have it so that like you just tap the L button, Link pulls the sword out, and now the stick controls the sword, and then you tap it again, he puts it away, and now it controls the camera. Something like that. I don't know. Nintendo, fix it already. I know you listen to us.
It's easy to be armchair developer, I guess, right?
Well, and Nintendo's been pretty good about like patching in quality of life and things like, the Super Mario 3D All-Stars, what they did with fixing the camera on that. So hopefully we'll see something. But otherwise, yeah, I agree with you. Like, it's nice to be able to play it in bed with, with the motion controls off, and just, not having to worry about flailing my arm around and hitting my wife in the head while she's sleeping.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's good. It's a good game. I think when I was even playing the original, I might have even said as much in the review that I wrote on Infendo.com way back when. That it would be good to be able to play this with traditional controls, and it does. It works. It's great. So let's see, what else have I been playing? I have been playing a little bit Pokemon Unite, but like literally a match that I played the other day, so that's, not much that I could say there.
Breaking news on Pokemon Unite, you can get a costume for Snorlax where he's in a berry. And it's the best thing I've ever seen. So go get yourself that costume.
How much does it cost you?
It's a hollow whatever reward. So it's that one of the 15 rewards.
Aren't they all?
In the game. Every time you battle, you earn energy, and every time that energy gets up to 100, you roll basically a loot crate that you can't put money into, I believe. No, maybe you can. There's probably a way to do that. But anyway, you roll a loot crate and you get a random thing. One of those random things is now Snorlax wearing a berry costume. So do that, and also play as Snorlax because I need defenders on my team. So
are we talking like Barry from Conker's Bad Fur Day? Is he in like skimpy little
it's Snorlax,
exercise outfit?
It's Snorlax in a bikini and short shorts. Yes.
So that's Pokemon Unite. The only other thing that I want to talk about briefly in my Change the System segment here is I have been playing Ni no Kuni. I think I talked about that last week, but
Ni no Kuni.
It's a good game. It's a really good Pokemon alike almost, because it is like the first one is, I mean, kind of Pokemon, like it's,
just with much more plot, like whole lot of Studio Ghibli plot. See, I played the game made by the same studio, Yokai Watch 4, and I really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. Again, way too much plot. Yeah. That's been my big. I'm hijacking your segment now, Eugene.
That's okay.
But that's been my big issue.
That's okay. I did the last one.
That was my gripe with the whole Yokai Watch franchise. Love the monsters, love the battle mechanic, love everything about it. Absolutely hate the story. Like, it's so obviously made for little kids, so the plot is so basic and plodding and repetitive. And like, they have a really cool like monster catching game if they didn't do all that. Like, if they just let me go to places and catch monsters and like fight bosses, I'd be all over that game. But it's all the plot that I have to trudge through that makes me not want to play them,
Yeah, the only saving grace for Ni no Kuni for me is Mr. Drippy, because he's funny.
Pretty great.
But I'm with you there, man. It takes itself real serious, So
well, again, it's Studio Ghibli, right? Like they have to, like they are the Disney of Japan. They have a history of, like, let's be real, Disney is the Disney of Japan, but you know what I mean. Like they have a reputation. They're the Howl's Moving Castle people. They're the Spirited Away people. Like they have an obligation to deliver heartfelt blah blah blahs.
Right. Yeah. But that's really it. That's all I've been up to. So I will pass over to whoever's next.
Well, I would like to do my segment, but before that, I want to complain because as I was on my Switch during Eugene's segment, I saw that Fortnite has an imposter mode, and it is exactly what it sounds like. And my God, dude, they just copy everything. They copied PUBG.
Did you see the Among Us devs? They even tweeted about it. They're like, we're real disappointed in this because they were in talks to partner with Epic.
Really?
To like bring something like that to whatever, and now they just kind of
it's literally Among Us. You're on a ship, you have to fix parts of the ship, but a couple of players are imposters, and it's their job to kill off the rest of the crew. It's Among Us, dude. They suck. I'm sorry.
Looks the same,
They suck.
Bad.
I mean, I miss playing Fortnite because of, getting together with, my gamer friends and all that. But like there's got to be another game that we can play because like the last couple times I tried playing Fortnite, even before they got all commercially and ripping everybody off. Like, it just wasn't fun. Like, it's a bunch of 8-year-olds screaming about my mom, and
I've actually been really into, I promise this is going to get into the games I've been playing, but I've been really into watching videos online now of people playing the hardcore, like, Pokemon emulator, Pokemon whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Pokemon Showdown, I think.
Nuzlocke or whatever?
No, like, it's like an actual, like, online Pokemon battler that's made by fans. So it's, like, really streamlined, and it, like, shows you the percentages of boosts and stuff like that. And I've been watching all these videos of people bringing in well-made teams and destroying these angry, salty players who use, like, legendaries and everything. And man, like, it is just heartbreaking to watch the kinds of things that, like, they say to these people, like, oh God, what a trash team, da 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 da. Then they start calling them names and saying that they have like disabilities and crap. Like, just, man, people suck. Like,
People suck, douche.
But let's talk about the games I've been playing. Warframe. I don't really have much to say about that. I think what is now my new favorite Warframe, which is Protea. She can go back in time, which is so like, she does these, like, she has like a turret ability that she does, where she summons a turret that just blasts everything away. She's got like a close range shrapnel attack. Then she's got an attack that literally just gives your whole team items so they can, like, heal and recover energy. Her 4 creates something called like a temporal anchor. Then you can go out into the field, shoot a bunch of enemies, use a bunch of energy, get hurt, take damage, die, whatever. And then when the temporal anchor runs out, you Prince of Persia back in time to, like, wherever you were. Everything that you did still happened, but anything that happened to you gets reverted.
That sounds pretty cool.
It's so much fun. So it's like, I'll temporal anchor and I'll jump into a group of enemies and just hack and slash and use all my abilities without caring about my energy loadout or anything. And then they'll all be dead. I'll explode into like a timey-wimey goo, and I'll go back in time and everything's just fine. It's she's a really cool character.
Sounds
so I'm
like a
enjoying
whole lot
that
of fun.
game. Yeah, I really like that game. It's a lot of fun. And I think I've gotten to a point now where I don't have to constantly be asking questions of the people who introduced it to me, which is nice, because, it is nice to be able to do some things self-sufficiently. There's still a lot of stuff I have to be, like, carried through. Like, we're trying to unlock this other character, Hildren. It's like this, like, end game boss battle kind of thing where I'm dealing, like, no damage. So there's still stuff like that, but I'm getting stronger. So that's Warframe, which is on Switch, by the way. People should try it. Unfortunately, it doesn't have crossplay yet, but maybe someday.
That seems like a real miss.
Yeah. Well, right now I think they're putting all their energy into the new plot-based, like, story thing for the end of the year, the New War, which is going to be this big, story element thing. So that's the thing. I have a penchant for board games, and I played a board game that had been on my radar for a long time that went on sale when all the indie games went on sale, called, like, Go Princess Maker Go or something. It's like a bad board game, but in a kind of, like, engaging way. So you're a young girl, and your whole goal is to become the princess of the kingdom. So you compete against other computers or human players, and you're running around taking classes, fighting monsters, meeting up with the prince at the theater, battling the Goblin King, all that crap. And I was playing it, and I kept getting shafted because everybody thought that my competition was this really beautiful. So, like, they have, like, intros for all the characters, and it's like I start up and they're like, oh, you're the daughter of the farmer or whatever. Then, like, the next character comes out and they're like, divine being from the heavens, she was born in a lotus flower. And it's like, then the third one's like, a queen of ice harvested her shards from a single snowflake. I'm like, okay, screw all of you. So, like,
You're just gonna have to make your own lore.
Yeah, I guess. So I started playing the game, and, like, everybody's giving all these other princesses, like, all this free crap and everything, and I've got nothing. So then the next quest is out in, like, the middle of the desert. Everybody runs off to the desert. I'm like, screw these girls. I'm going to stay in town. I'm going to take classes. I'm going to earn money, and I'm going to buy swords and armor. Everybody else is out running, trying to hook up with the prince in, like, a swamp or something. They keep dying and dehydrating and crap. And I'm getting really buff and strong, and I keep leveling up. They get back, and I start challenging them to duels and, like, knocking them out every turn so they can't roll their dice anymore. It's so stupid, but it was a fun game. So I want to try to rope in some of my local friends into playing it with me sometime.
That sounds like a whole lot of crazy.
And it's got this like weird like 80s anime aesthetic where it's like, you know how like Sailor Moon would do the weird thing where she would be like naked and like glowing light all around her body and stuff, like, you know, that weird like 80s girl anime stuff where it's like they didn't want to show anything, so it's just like it has like that, like they have like spring and it's like this glowing beam coming from the girl and like a field of flowers and crap like that. It's just such a weird game. I don't know what the history of this series is, but it was on my weird radar and I picked it up. I talked about Pokemon Unite already. That's really kind of all I did like over the weekend, and really that's kind of it for games that I've been playing. You know, I just haven't been doing that much, so that's kind of it for me. Go Princess, make her go.
Oh well, I guess we'll wait for Justin's recording to start, and then he can go, and I'll put a note here, and then we can edit this part out.
Good to me.
Hang on a second. I'm just going to unplug my blue snowball and plug it back in and hope that improves the connection, because this is ridiculous.
Fair.
Oh, good. Now it's recording from my Bluetooth. I'm sure that sounds amazing.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
boy.
You sound like you're in your car.
Sounds like you're in Steve's car.
Shh.
Okay, that should be a little better.
That's better.
Y'all
Might as
sound
well
like
sync-
crap still. I don't know why that is, but
There
we go.
Sync up too since we're on break, so. Or I mean, we're still live.
Yep,
but-
I just restarted my recording, so.
Then in 3, 2, 1.
9 seconds.
Okay.
Eugene, have fun editing this one.
I was gonna say it's gonna be a nice, easy edit. There's only gonna be 2 of us, and then Lucas shows up, and then Justin has 3 recordings. But it's gonna be fine. Let's go, Justin.
I mean, I'll just call them 6081, 6082, 6083, and you got my, timestamps. So.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
Yeah, Eugene, what you complaining about? Get to work.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Justin, tell us about the games you've been playing.
Yes, so I did something I haven't done in a really long time. I also played video games. I hooked up my Xbox One. Okay, so funny story about that. I've been wanting to hook.
Wait. You hooked up your Xbox One or your Xbox One? Like the original
My Xbox One.
Okay. I hate Xbox.
Not my original Xbox.
Now, what about your
which is-
Xbox Series X or Series S?
I do not have one of those. I'd been wanting to play the Xbox. Like the only video game system I've been able to play lately is the Switch, and that's great and all, but sometimes you want a little Xbox action. So I hooked up my my Xbox One, and a funny story before I get into what I was playing on it. I couldn't find the power cord for it. I looked all over the house for the power cord for it. Finally said, all right, screw it. I bought an extra power cord so that I could hook it up in my bedroom because, you can use the xCloud thing to put it on a tablet or a phone. So what I was going to do was play it in bed like I play my Switch with the thing on my neck and play, like that. So I went upstairs, got the power cord, brought it downstairs, went to hook it up, and realized I have an Xbox One S, which uses a standard...
I forgot that there's the S
I
and the
hate
X.
this
I
crap
hate it
so much.
bad. I do.
So garbage, man. Like, I get it. It's a good system or whatever. Game Pass is God's gift to women, but like, come on, man.
I don't know what we're complaining about here.
We're complaining about the fact that there's like 4 versions and each one has its own hookups and crap.
Okay, yeah. So,
The
Xbox
One is the 3rd system in the line.
Okay, so the Xbox One had its own proprietary power supply, or actually, I think it used the same one as the redesigned Xbox 360. The Xbox One S uses your standard like 2-prong
Yeah, 'cause
power
the
cord
supply is
with
built in. Just like
So I have like 100 of those cords. If I just looked at it more carefully, I would have been like, oh, I just got to plug in the one that I used for my PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
So anyway, I hooked up my Xbox One, and I was looking around at what was on Game Pass, and I saw No Man's Sky, which I'd always wanted to try but never wanted to pay for because I heard mixed things about it. So I spent a good couple of hours playing No Man's Sky on Monday.
What did you think?
Well, I probably died about 4 or 5 times before I figured out what the heck I'm supposed to do. Because, spoiler alert for an old game, basically the game just drops you on a planet that's trying to kill you and tells you to reassemble your ship. But you don't know how to reassemble your ship. You don't know where the parts are, so you have to kind of fumble your way around this planet that is either incredibly hot, incredibly toxic, or has an incredible, just an incredible amount of radiation, so that your suit is constantly
so you're
like
playing Pikmin.
I was going to say, so you're playing Twitter because you said it was toxic. So is it like a survival game? Is there food and water and stuff? How does that work?
All right, so you do have to. The way the game starts is very survival. Like I said, you're dropped on a planet that's trying to kill you. You have to find the supplies to keep your suit running long enough so you can find the parts to fix your ship and get off the planet. That takes roughly, I think it took me about an hour once I figured out what I was supposed to do. And of course, every planet you're on has its own weather system, so sometimes a storm can roll in and hinder your progress. And at any point, once you find your ship, you don't know where your ship is when you start. Once you find your ship, you can go to your ship, turn it on, and kind of keep yourself safe and recharge your suit. But you still have to find, like, you have a mining gun. So you mine for iron, you mine for things that are going to help you build things, and then you have plants that are oxygen rich or sodium rich. Sodium powers your life support. Oxygen obviously is to breathe. Once you get all that managed and get your ship off, it's all like exploration. So you go from planet to planet, and you check out all the animals that live on every planet, and you document them, and when you're on the planet, you're trying to survive, but it doesn't seem as bad as the beginning. The beginning is really a trial by fire.
So is there like a goal once you're off the planet, or is it just kind of like, hey, look at all these planets?
That's pretty much it from what I understand. There's some trading you can. I met another traveler who's like a scientist, and I guess at some point you can hire people to help you out with things. But really, yeah, once you get off the planet, it's all about explore the galaxy, and apparently it is like a galaxy. Yeah.
It's so close to like my dream game, but in my dream game there would be some faction of Borg-like or Klingon-like enemies who are like constantly getting in my way, and I have to board their warships and blow them up. It's missing that like one game element that would make me really hooked, I think, right?
So there might be something like that, because your spaceship does have like a laser cannon, so there might be some battling. I only, once I got off the planet and got to a safe location, I saved and haven't had a chance to play it since then. But another game that's in a similar vein to No Man's Sky that might be more up your alley is Elite Dangerous, which does have some I think some warring factions that you can get involved in. But it's also like a galaxy-spanning exploration game.
Because I kind of tried to turn, what was the name?
Starlink.
Starlink. Yeah, I tried to
which
Starlink
I played the night that I started No Man's Sky, because I was laying in bed. I'm like, I want to explore space. I'm going to play Starlink.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was what was kind of fun about it, right? Is you could go up and do like big space battles and be Star Fox and go down to the planet's surface and stuff. You know, it didn't quite have the exploration thing that it sounds like No Man's Sky did,
Right,
but it had the space shooty part that I wanted, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, Starlink is kind of the happy medium. I think Starlink is a little too simple in the exploration, like.
Agreed.
But yeah, it's very similar to that, and like I really can't wait to get to like dive into this. And like I said, my goal is to get it running on like either my phone or my tablet, so I can lay in bed and play it on the Xbox in bed, because it seems like the type of game that would be great to just play for an hour before I fall asleep.
Yeah, the cloud. Have you messed with the cloud service? Is that what you're going to play it on or whatever?
A little bit. Like, I've gotten it to work, but the problem is, like, my Xbox is down here, but the bedroom's up there, so once I get that far away from the Xbox, I lose the connection, because the Xbox is on Wi-Fi, and so that's why I have the extra power cord, so I can basically just bring my Xbox upstairs, hook it up, under the nightstand, and have it, and have it right
Wii U
there.
console, basically.
Right. But I haven't had a chance to mess with that any, and especially since we're about to remodel the bedroom. But besides that, I rolled credits on Bowser's Fury a few days ago. I had no idea I was so close to the end, but I rolled credits on...
That's always a bad feeling. When it's like, you're like, all right, time to settle in for a 5-hour session. And then like 30 minutes in, you're like, oh, did it.
Well, I mean, I was satisfied with when it ended, because I only had about an hour to play, but then I'm like, oh, that's it. But once you finish, like once you've gotten the first 50 cat shines, it unlocks another 50 cat shines, so you can continue to go around and explore stuff. But like I've unlocked like the whole area and everything. And
what I wouldn't give for them to just release that as a standalone game that I could buy for $20, I would be so into just playing that on its own. But I don't want to buy a game I already have,
Well, I like having 3D World on the Switch, because they, just like Skyward Sword, they improved the saving. It now automatically saves after every level.
But it sounds like they also made the gameplay way too fast, from what I had heard. Did they ever scale that down?
Too.
Yeah,
like, that's my biggest complaint is, like, I understand that the Wii U version was a little sluggish, but I think they overcompensated with the Switch, and like I find some of the jumps and maneuvers a little trickier to do because of that. But I mean, it is nice to, again, when you only got like 15 minutes to play games, to just pop in 3D World, play a level, save, and jump out. So which I wish they had done. Well, I guess they do have the temporary save in what's the Wii U one that they ported, Mario U, New Super Mario Brothers U. That's not quite as convenient to do that in, but but I haven't really played much besides.
Docked or handheld?
Which one?
Bowser's Fury.
Handheld mostly. Okay. I played it docked a little bit here and there, but mostly it's been. Can you tell
the difference between the 60 FPS and the 30 while you're on handheld? Does that make a difference to you at all? Because I heard a lot of people saying that was like really messed them up too.
I don't usually notice like major. I don't usually notice the frame rates quite to that degree. Like I can kind of tell sometimes when the frame rate is 30 instead of 60, but I rarely find it to be detracting. But for years I wondered why everybody makes such a big deal, because you watch a movie. Movies are 24 frames per second. TV shows are 30 frames per second. So, like, why do video games have to be 60 frames? And I get it, because when you've got all the fast motion and everything, that fraction of a second can be the difference between making a jump and not. But
let's be real. That really only like affects you, I feel like, in like a competitive set. It's like
for the most part, I find Mario. Yeah, for the most part, I find I don't notice the difference. Like, as long as it's running at 30 frames per second, like, it's smooth enough for me. Like, The Witcher 3 runs at 30.
I've always seen that as like, and maybe I'm totally off here. Maybe it's just that, like Justin, I'm an uncultured swine and I don't really see frame rates or whatever. But to me, I've always seen that as like that, like, well, I hit my A button to perform a back counter, but it didn't perform the back counter in the right frame, so I lost the whole. It's like that kind of like, I don't know,
Yeah, it's that's like whenever a Smash patch comes out and everybody's like, oh, they shaved 3 frames from Yoshi's tongue move. I'm like, who cares?
It affects somebody, but that somebody is not me.
Right, exactly. Like, as long as I can pick up a controller and play the game, I'm not that particular. Hell, give me Cyberpunk on the Switch. I don't care. I play The Witcher 3 on it. I don't see how... I did buy a new game, though, that really there's not much to say about it. I finally broke down on one of the sales and bought Picross S, the first of the Switch series. I have the first 3 on the 3DS, and of course I've got it on the DS and various other systems. I love Picross. Played a bunch of puzzles last night. It's Picross. The Jupiter-developed Picross games are always the best because there's just something about... They've got a feel to them. They feel polished. They don't feel like cheap knockoffs. They feel like the real thing. So, if you're into...
forever.
Yeah, like, if you're into logic puzzles and stuff like that, pick up one of the Picross games. They're a joy to play, but... there's not really anything to say about it. It's Picross. Every Picross is Picross. They might have this, that, or other features, but it's still just Picross.
Bring back Pushmo.
I like Pushmo. Pushmo is fun.
Darn right.
Oh, I never played any of those. I wanted to get them on the 3DS, but...
I never played Pulmo. I only played Pushmo. I'm not a Pulmo boy.
Either.
Yeah. All right, well, now we completely derailed Justin's conversation.
I don't think there was anything else worth talking about. I mean, I played Mario Golf. I've talked about that. I played Super Mega Baseball 2 because I just felt like playing Super Mega Baseball 2 out of the blue. I've been playing Mortal Kombat 11 every night. All the same old. But No Man's Sky and Picross are the only real new things on the list, plus beating Bowser's Fury.
Well, normally this would be the part where we do a question, but I think since we're already going a little long, we will leave the question off of this week's show. However, we will ask it to you. So if you would like to answer it, go to Infendo.com and find it in Eugene's magical post. I believe it was today's post, actually. The question of the week is, who is your favorite Nintendo character? Go ahead, or video game character, I guess, really. Let's not be exclusive, right? So answer that. Go into our comments. Sign up for a Discus account. Go through the 20 steps you have to do to validate that, and then answer our question on Infendo.com. And maybe, just maybe, we'll answer it there too. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you all for joining us on this episode of Infendo Radio, and we will be back again next week with episode 609. Nice.
Adios.
What would that be?
Bye.
Would there be a body pillow in the middle or something?
Gene cut the feed.
Good night.